Hey guys, Jim here. Wanted to share with you my Zero Tolerance 801, a knife that's been really popular with pretty much everybody, from the novices that are just spending a little bit of money on their knives to like crazy super high-end collectors that don't usually look at anything that, it's under $500. These things are absolutely incredible. The thing I didn't like was I didn't like the aesthetics of them. It just didn't do anything for me in its original format. It just wasn't exciting. And then one day as I was kind of scrolling through my Instagram feed, this was probably about 4 or 5 months ago, it was right when these first came out, Will Moon had posted up a picture that he got, that he had gotten one, and he decided to modify it a little bit. And to the best of my knowledge, his was the very first one done like this, where he just took the finish off. He did a nice, beautiful satin, and then he did the blue anodizing inside of the frames. And I went, oh, holy crap, please do that for me. He's like, yeah, I'm happy to do it. So I found a guy selling one used, because, I mean, even at, I think they were, what were they, 160, I want to say? I was like, I'm not sure how much I'm really going to like that thing. And I found one guy was selling it for like 135, 140. And I went, you know what, that's a really fair price. So we wanted to get rid of all the black hardware. There was black on the pivot, black screws, I think. Definitely had a black pocket clip. And I'm a little iffy on some of that stuff because this has been gone for months. I got it in, I fondled it for a day, and then I shipped it out the next day to Will, and he's had it for like 3 months. Only because he's had a million other things on his plate, including building my Mark 7, which should be here at this point any day now. And I kind of forgot all about it till I finally got it back. And I got to tell you, just the day that I had it before I shipped it out, I got the same feeling that I have right now. This has got to be one of the best production flippers ever. I mean, ever. I know a lot of people were saying that about the Spyderco Southern, and all the ones that I flipped were like, they're mediocre. Certainly not to the level of a real Southern, and certainly not to the level of, other knives that are, $300, $400, $500, $800, whatever you want to spend. When you talk about a really great flipper, there's certain characteristics it's got to have, and this one, oh, this has it, man. Get it past the detent there. It's just super fast and very smooth. Now you might be wondering, why do I have a blade sitting here for no apparent reason? Well, on top of all the aesthetic work that Will did, which includes obviously the blue anodizing, that beautiful satin finish, satin finishing the pivot, getting rid of the black, satin finishing the clip, getting rid of the black, and there's something else going on in there. And he did this for 2 reasons, and it was a surprise to me when he told me that I was basically getting 2 blades. I was like, what? Here's the blade that came out of it. And one of the reasons that he wanted to get rid of it was I did not want all this billboard crap all over my blade. Zero Tolerance has they have a fixation with splashing as much crap all over their blades as possible. Putting your maker's mark is one thing, but it's like it just doesn't stop with them. It's just on and on and on and on. These are things that could be written inside of the frame. It could be done, in so many different ways instead of doing it like this. It's asinine. And the other reason, and this was his reasoning for going ahead and just doing a new blade instead of just getting rid of all this crap, was this is LMAX. And while we're all fans of LMAX when made by a custom maker, we know what happens when production companies produce a knife with LMAX. They burn through the heat treat when they're grinding, so you end up with an edge that won't hold for more than a few cutting tasks. And next thing you know, you're having to resharpen your blade. So that had to be scrapped. Luckily, Will happened to have a piece of blade stock from Zero Tolerance for this knife, and he did his own heat treat on it, so it bears his maker's mark right there on the blade. If I can get it to focus, there we go. So it does have his scribe right there on the blade, and it is completely sterile otherwise. No other marks anywhere on it. So it is wonderfully sharp, and it's going to hold that edge for tremendously longer than this one will, because it has the proper heat treat and he didn't burn through that heat treat while grinding it. So now what I've got is a really nice performance flipper. This thing is just going to be fantastic. And again, it's one of those knives that I'm going to have in my possession for the times that I don't want to break out, some ridiculously expensive knife to go hacking through something that, may chip the blade or do something to the blade that, I may not want to do to my more expensive knives. Now, you guys know me. I'll use all my knives for everything. It doesn't matter. But it's nice to have that inexpensive backup. I mean, well, actually, when you break it down, I actually have a lot of money invested in this because I paid well a few hundred to do the work on this, plus the cost of the knife. So, I'm really in the realm right now, price-wise, of a really, really good mid-tech knife. So, I don't give a shit. I don't care. It came out exactly how I wanted. It looks gorgeous. I think it really added something to the pride of ownership of having this knife. And I'm probably going to end up throwing a lanyard on here and getting another custom bead for it that'll match with the satin and the blue in some kind of titanium bead. But I think overall, this is like the great carry package. Let me get that out of the way. Give you some size comparisons here. There it is up against my John Graham Razel with the Zerkatai. Another popular 3.5 inch Kirby Lambert Orion MGT. Now, while it's going to be pretty much the same length as these, the thickness is going to be a pretty big difference. Get these laid up here. I don't know if the Graham is going to sit because of the tail clip. No, it's not going to. But the Kirby definitely will. So you're going to see a little bit of a difference here in the handles. The blade stock is obviously a lot slimmer than what Kirby is using. So this is going to be slimmer and even a little bit lighter weight. This is all carbon fiber and, G10 and Lightning Strike carbon fiber. But there's still some pretty thick titanium on there. So this actually comes out to be a bit lighter. And I really like the fact that they have used a lot of the handle to tuck the blade into. There's not a lot of handle left over, just a little bit. But you need to have that if you're going to put the lanyard hole in your handle. So you don't want the tip of your blade fraying up your lanyard. And I've had that happen before too with, I think it was my Strider SNG, the one that was the Starling Gear collaboration, the very first collaboration they did, the Kamikaze. The tip of that blade would fray my my lanyard all over the place. It was horrible. I hated when that happened. So this was, I think, very, very well thought out. It's a nice, slim, easy to carry package. There's the lockup. Very, very solid. Nice jimping on the flipper tab here. This is a very comfortable flipper tab. There are no sharp points on it anywhere. It's easy to engage, super fast. And it's got Kershaw's bearing system in there again, so you know that it's going to be a rocket. They have been doing such an amazing job with their flippers lately. Just super fast, accurate, lockup, everything. Just, I mean, what more could you possibly ask for? It's a knife that does its job. It works well. Nice, clean design. Again, I'm not crazy about all the milled lines in it. I would have much rather had something very simple. And then maybe if you wanted to go from there, you could, modify it, send it out to whomever and do maybe an Anzo pattern or rock pattern or, something crazy like that. But there's something about all these lines that it still takes away a little bit for me. But having the satin flats on there really changes the entire look and the attitude of the knife for me. So I'm very, very happy. I think that this is it's a damn good looking knife now. Something when I want something a bit lighter weight, I can carry. And I'm really impressed with that flipper action. It is really, really fast. So my thoughts are, if you've looked at the 801 and you thought about getting one and wondered, is it really worth it? In my opinion, yeah. I think it's a great little knife. I think, at their retail price, there's not a lot of really impressive competitors out there. And if you're a flipper fan, then you kind of have to do it because this thing flips like a raped ape. It's insane how fast it wants to come out of that frame. And the detent is great. The action is great. So, yeah, I mean, you would have to spend, at least a good $100, maybe $200 more in any other knife to get action this nice. Now, there may be other knives out there in this price range that I haven't experienced that may flip as well. But for me to be this surprised, I've handled a lot of knives. And I've handled a lot of knives that were a lot more expensive than this that did not flip this well. This is almost, and I mean almost, up to par with my Shirogorov. Matter of fact, I don't know if it's really going to translate on camera, but I've never flipped these side by side. Oops. Yeah, boy, I'd say that's pretty close. And the smoothness is right there with it, too. Now, you do have a bigger blade here. Yeah, you know what? I think the ZT is just a hair snappier. And it may just be the shorter and maybe lighter weight blade on there. But you know what? This is tremendously more expensive. Especially now on the secondary market, people are paying right now about $1,400–1,500 for a Model 95T. It's not worth that much. Don't pay that much. It's asinine that those prices have climbed up that high. This is a solid knife. I overpaid at $850. Now these used to be, I think they were $650 if I'm not mistaken. I paid $850 just because my buddy Barry had it, didn't really want to sell it, and I really, really wanted it, so I just kept offering him more money till I got it. And it is worth every penny to me. I think this is a fantastic knife. But if you can't normally spend that much, and you really want to get a performance flipper in an all titanium knife, I would absolutely tell you to grab one of these. So there you go, guys. Like I said, just a quick video about half the length that I usually do, because as I was sitting down to do this the first time around, I got this. Now, for those that don't know what that's going to be, that is Jake's prototype of the mid-tech version of the Kawai back. So I'm going to be comparing my custom Kawai back to the mid-tech Kawai back. And he said he stuffed a few other goodies in there too, so it might be a nice long Holbackian edition part 2. We'll have to see. So for right now, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you to Will Moon for doing such an exceptional job. I could not be happier. And I will see you guys on the next video, which, well, now we know is going to be a Hoback video. See you then.